Hey everybody, it's me, Liv. So this time I'm going to be creating some ATC cards that are not Christmas or holiday based. And I'm really going to go ahead and put on this paint. The paper that I'm using is some classic Canon Mixed Media paper. So it really can withstand holding this acrylic paint. So make sure if you're going to use an effect like this, you have paper that can withstand having some paint on it. I do want to combine these three colors, which is going to be like this reddish color. So it's more brass, it's a little bit of gold, and then some blue. Once I have all of them mixed together, I'm going to go ahead and purposely paint them on because I actually don't want them to mix together. I want the colors to kind of stand out on their own. So one of the things I will definitely tell you is that this is a pretty good thick paint if you haven't watched my other videos. So you would be able to get a lot even out of a little bit of it. So I'm using like this reddish pink and this gold color. And then as I was doing it, I was thinking, I wanted to bring in that blue because I want it to be more like a patina kind of thing that's going on here. So I'm just pouring it kind of right on. Now, one of the things that I did note with this is that, I've been using a lot of it. So I found that it did end up eventually getting a little bit hard to come out of the bottles. That's just a critique of mine. If I noticed how this works, and that when you have the squeeze bottles, when you get a little bit lower, it is harder to get them out. After that, I'm going to be pulling out another stencil and going ahead and using some of the paste that I also have here. So this paste was, I believe, from another one of the kits, and I believe it was November's kit that it was from. So like I said, just because you get a kit doesn't mean you only use it 1 month. You can combine and reuse these kits all the time, which is one of the things that I love about this. So you see I'm using my unicorn ink here, which is actually like a white base ink. And I'm doing it because it's really great to use for embossing. Plus, I just think the white pops. So for part of this, I'm going to go ahead and emboss. And you see that I'm using this gold embossing powder. And for the other parts of it, I'm going to actually leave it white and not emboss all of it because I like the way that it pops against here. So now that I have that all set, I'm just going to go ahead and dry it off with the heat gun, getting that embossing ink down. I also want the white to set because, like I said, because it is created initially to be an embossing paste, it can sometimes have material stick to it. So you want to make sure that you dry it off really well. So now that I've had those different areas embossed and ready to go, you can see how cool that gold looks against these other backgrounds. I felt like I was losing a little bit of the blue, so I decided to bring that blue back out and kind of drag it more into the card. So this is why I sprayed it and watered it down just a little bit so that I can use it more like a wash, I guess, is what I was looking to do with it. And now that I have some raised areas between both the paste as well as the embossing, that was what I was trying to achieve there. Now, depending on what your style is, I felt like my space still had too much openness to it. So I'm kind of going in and doing just a little bit more stamping on it just to go ahead and get it a little bit more covered with the white. And once I have that done, I'm going to move on to one of my favorite things to do, which people have seen me do tons of times if you watch my channel, which is just to do some splattering onto the card surface. Now, off camera, I went ahead and dug through my box of trinkets of different metal pieces that I have and decided how I wanted it to lay out. This could take me a little bit of while when I'm trying to figure it out for myself. That's why I thought it would just be easier for me to do that off camera. Now I'm using my art glitter glue to go ahead and get that down. Now, I would say that one of the things with the art glitter glue and some of this heavy metal, it's not the best. So if you do have the heavy duty gloss gel, that's probably the better item to use for this, because the art glitter glue will hold it eventually. The issue really ends up is that it doesn't dry instantly. So sometimes things can still be loose for a bit. I do find in the long term it ends up sticking down well though. But these are pretty thin metal pieces that I have in my stash. I'm not really sure exactly where I got these from. I want to believe I got the majority of them kind of online at different craft stores. And some of them are Tim Holtz pieces too, that I know. But well, now that I have those all down, like you can see here, that key is going to take a little bit of time to dry and make sure that it stays down. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it to sit over there. Same as the sentiment that I was using for the first card, it really wasn't sticking so well. So I'm going to leave it to sit for a bit. This key that you see, which is a little bit heavier, is also going to need to take some time to sit. So I'm going to pull out a different sentiment because that one really wasn't working. And I also felt like I wanted just a little bit of white. So I'm kind of like using the wash that I created earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and use this Tim Holtz sentiment that I have there to get that to stick right onto this metal piece. Now, sometimes this does happen. I still wasn't content with just the amount of color there. So I'm actually going to go and take the paste that I used before and also bring that a little bit more along the edges of each card as well to help some of that color pop here. So you see, I'm just going to use my good old-fashioned fingers to make this happen. Some I'm pulling more blue, some I'm pulling a little bit more of that gold color from the paste. And then finally, another dash of splatter on top of all the objects that I put here to really help it come together. And so now the set is done. So I'm going to slow this down and give you guys a nice close-up of each of these ATCs. I have to say, I love all the depth that ended up coming out from using the stencils, the paste, the embossing powder, and then these embellishments here, and with this base of a paint that gave it a great grungy look. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, got some inspiration, and definitely go check out the Trust Jolie Mixed Media kits to make your own. Bye!